Do you know that more than 70% of the products fail in the first version? Do you know that most products fail because the business idea wasn't validated properly and the founders jumped into product development? Earlier, I didn't used to have a lot of faith on these facts. But in the last 13 years, I was part of hundreds of products journey and I saw a lot of them fail only because the product idea wasn't validated properly. Hello everyone, this is Sean from Innofied and I'm going to tell you today how following a lean approach can save your product from failing. By the term lean, I mean that you are moving swiftly to figure out what you are going to build and how you are going to build it with as few resources as possible. By resources here, I mean your time, money and effort. Today you will learn how you can validate a product market fit idea and communicate with the target customers and hack together the prototype. The goal is to ensure that your product idea is a viable one, which will save both of your previous time and money. So by the end of the entire process, you will be able to concentrate on building your product and be confident that you have a higher chance of success. So what is this lean process all about? There are 4 distinct stages that make up the lean product validation process. Once you have passed all major processes, you can be confident about the fact that your product idea is worth developing. Process number 1, validating the problem. It doesn't matter how much confidence you have about your product idea. You need to sort out if the problem is a real one that really requires a solution. For doing this, you need to communicate with the potential users directly. First, we start with a small number of properly sampled representative users and verify that problems exist for them. Then we optimize and verify this later with more users and at a greater scale. The goal is to get a qualitative validation of the product idea. For validating the problem, I often advise to follow 3 techniques that I found working pretty well. The first technique is to find at least 5 people who are keen to utilize your hypothetical product. This is an indication that you are dealing with a problem which is worth solving. While it doesn't compulsorily guarantee that the problem actually exists or that the proposed solution is a good or valuable one, it is the simplest way to start validating the problem that you have identified. If you can build a good rapport with these users and keep hold of their contact information, they might even be willing to be your first 5 customers. The second technique is to interview these users, as you likely to learn a lot about your problem and your users. The focus here is to understand the motivations and the needs of each potential customers, and then you talk to and use that feedback to improve the product. Some good practices for a fruitful interview includes encouraging participants to share their past experience as well as their current needs and challenges. Ask them how they have tried to solve the particular problem in the past and what was the outcome. Also, avoid asking people what they want. It's often difficult for people to share exactly what they want. It's rather easier for them to tell you what they are trying to achieve and for you to ask them their motivations behind that. The third technique is to observe your users face this problem. It may not be always possible, but wherever it is possible, it always provides user much better data than even user interviews. You will be able to see your users experience the pain and can understand what solution will be best for them. It gives a lot of insights into context, which can be hard to get from others, more formal testing techniques. Learning more about this context helps us to understand how it affects the user experience, especially outside the lab conditions, control interviews and tests. Process number 2, validating the market. Few users may agree with the fact that this is a problem worth solving. But are there enough such users to make up a reliable market for your product? Once you have spoken to a number of users and validated the problem that exists, you need to ensure that the market is large enough to take the idea further. If it's a micro market, then probably your product won't return a profit more than few thousands dollars a month. But if your ambitions are bigger and you want to make millions from that product and become the next unicorn startup, then you just need to ensure that the big market exists. Process number 3, validate the willingness to pay. There are many ways to validate willingness to pay, but one of the biggest challenges is that we cannot necessarily trust people's words. There might be a demand for your product, but will people actually be interested to reach out to their wallet and pay for your product? While you are interviewing your target customers, you need to analyze what great problem this is. There is a concept called grade 1 problem, which means the problem you are looking to solve is one of the top 3 problems your potential customers are expecting. Let's say your target buyer is a small business owner providing some service to local shop owners. Their top 5 problems might look something like this: generating more sales, execute marketing activities and look for business development channels, manage business operations, hiring talented people, and spreading brand awareness. Now imagine that you are creating a solution for this target audience that will help them with better brand awareness and spreading the news about their company. You can see that's not a top grade problem for the typical CEO of a small business. It's number 5 on their list. They will be so focused on solving their first 3 problems that you will never get to look in, even if you have the best product or even if you have the best support. They simply won't have time or budget for you if you are not solving problem that's top of their mind, which is a grade 1 problem. This is probably the hardest lesson to learn and one of the most that startup founders ignore. If you are not on the top of their mind, be assured that your product is not going to be in their purchase list. The final process, process number 4, validating the prototype. There is only one way to make sure your product solves the problem you are focusing on, and that is to get your hands dirty and build a prototype. You can keep your features minimal, design simple, and instead of opting for a time-consuming and expensive prototyping technique, keep the things lean. Once you have built the prototype, you will begin to run tests with users to gather feedback and learn from them as much as possible. What's next if your idea meets all these 4 processes? If your idea meets all of these 4 validation processes, then you can jump directly into product development, or you can choose to take a step back. By following the lean development validation process, you are sure to receive heaps of suggestions from the users. By analyzing the feedback, you might realize that there is something bigger to tackle. In this situation, you should feel free to pivot. If you decide to do that, then you can repeat the entire lean validation process with your improved and pivoted product idea. In this way, you can be confident that you are taking a strong idea into product development. Even if you validate, you cannot guarantee the success of your product. The validation process is just a start. But if you start working at all the processes that I just discussed, by step, you will be able to reduce the chances of failure to a great extent. The main aim throughout this process of lean validation is to delay the time consuming and expensive work of development. It is one of the best ways to keep yourself focused by minimizing the cost and maximizing your chance of successful app launch. So now we have already validated the product idea. You are finally ready to start thinking about how to create the product into a reality. Stay cautious while you progress in your product journey. Keep a consistent communication with your users. Continue to keep the process lean. That will be your product success criteria. So overall, I discussed about 4 distinct stages that make up the lean product validation process. This includes beginning with validating the problem, validating the market, validating the product, and validating the willingness to pay. If you have any other strategies about product validation process, I want to know about it. Let us know how you think about it and what worked for you. Please share your ideas with me and with our audience in the comment section. Please share this video with any of your friends or colleagues who are either an entrepreneur or in the process of becoming one. And this video might be of help. If you are an entrepreneur, startup, businessman, or someone associated with tech industry, do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We discuss a lot about problems startups and entrepreneurs face and what are the best ways to deal with them. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you soon.